All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Jennifer. We are happy to have you guys on the wake-up call this morning. We're excited to be working through a new book that we have. It's 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself, Change Your Life Forever. I'm coming to you from Oklahoma, and I'm excited this morning to welcome another Okie to the call today. I'm going to bring on Mr. Chris Smith. He's from Oklahoma City. I've known him, I think it's been over 12 years now, and he's really been an inspiration to me, he and his wife. He's a godly man, a family man, a good friend, a youth pastor, he and his wife over there, and they're making a big impact on people. So, Chris, are you on?
I am, and thank you so much for hosting the call and that great introduction. I really, really appreciate it. Well, just like Jennifer, I'm very excited about this book. On this call about, I think 2019, we went through this book and really was excited to do it again. It's full of really great information, and who wouldn't want to find the 100 ways to motivate yourself and change your life forever, right? So today we are in subject or chapter 4, and it says, keep your eye on the prize. So here we go. It says, most of us never really focus. We constantly feel a kind of irritating psychic chaos because we keep trying to think of too many things at once. There's always just too much on the screen. There was an interesting motivational talk on this subject given by former Dallas Cowboy coach Jimmy Johnson to his football team before the 1993 Super Bowl. Side note, how many of y'all watched that? I know I did. So it was the great Dallas, story there, and, they won that Super Bowl. I don't watch a lot of football now, but it may have been their last one. Sorry if you're a Dallas fan, but I think that may be right. I don't know. Nevertheless, anyway, this great motivational talk before this game, and it says, he says, I told them that if they laid a 2x4, or if we laid a 2x4 across the locker room floor there, everyone there would walk across it and not one of them would fall because they would be focused on going across and walking across that 2x4. But if I put the same 2x4 across two 10-story buildings in between them, only a few of you would make it because your focus would change and be on falling. Focus is everything. The team that is more focused today is going to be the team that wins the game. Johnson told his team not to be distracted by the crowd, the media, the possibilities of losing, but to focus on each play of the game itself, just as if they were in a good practice session. The Cowboys won that game 52-17. There's a point to the story that goes way beyond football. Most of us tend to lose our focus in life because we perpetually worry about so many negative possibilities. Rather than focusing on the 2x4, the thin board, and walking across it, we'll worry about all the ramifications of falling. Rather than focusing on our goals, we are distracted by our worries and fears. But when you focus on what you want, it will come into your life. When you focus on being happy and a motivated person, that is who you will be. So it's a short chapter. I thought it was kind of ironic. I didn't read ahead yesterday. I was on the call yesterday as Patty was doing the call, and we were talking about telling ourselves a true lie. And, kind of those self-affirmations, those speaking those things into your life that you want. And today I believe it kind of focuses more on the fear part and why not to focus on the fear, why not to worry. So I actually quoted my mentor, Andi, yesterday in something that I had heard him say and I later read in books. He said, but what you focus on, talk about, think about, worry about, will become your maximum potential. And it really is about the 4 inches between our ears, guys. It's that space that we get to control. And a lot of times people ask me, hey, how you doing today, Chris? And I say, I chose to be fantastic. And the reason I say that, yeah, it's kind of quirky. Yeah, it's kind of this thing that I do. Yeah, I try to get people's reaction. It creates conversation. There's a lot of reasons that I do it. But the main reason that I do it is to remind myself that I'm in control. I'm in control of what I think. I may not be in control about the weather or politics or policies that may affect my life, or, what the speed limit is, right? I can't control what that is. There's a lot of things I can't control, but I can choose to be fantastic. I can choose to see things the way that I want to see them, because what I found is when I do that, I find the things in life that are fantastic. I find the things to focus on that I'm thankful for. And we have to keep a balance. I do trainings all the time. I call it gratefully frustrated. And what I mean by that is we have to realize where we're at. We can't, just be ignorant about what's going on in our life. I mean, if the bills are due, the bills are due. So we have to understand what's going on, but at the same time, we have to be grateful for what we have. And again, not to keep picking on my mentor, Andi, but one of the best things that he taught me and what helped me have one of the biggest mindsets is because he's from a different country. He came to America to live out the American dream. His parents saved up, did everything they could to just get him here because they knew if they could just get his feet on this soil that his life would be better. And see, I was born here. I didn't have that belief system. It's just, it is what it is. And, you hear your relatives and family and, uncles and everybody complaining about this and this and that. And you always hear what's wrong with everything. And to hear someone else do everything they could just to get here because they knew it was better than where they came from. I think it was Jim Rohn I heard say one time, he said, most people around the world would trade everything they have just to be homeless on the streets here, because they knew if they could just be here, they could at least have an opportunity, a chance to do better. And that's what I have found. The more immigrants that I've met, people that come here, they know that there's opportunity, and it's just a mindset. They're focusing on something different. So a lot of times what we do is we focus on what we don't want. We focus on the things that could happen, and especially in times of transition, when new things are happening, when new opportunities are abound, when you're going from one style or way of doing things to another. That's when this seems to peak its head out the most on me. It's like, oh, what could go wrong? What about this? How are people going to react to this? And that's just it, guys. The more you spend time on stuff like that, the more you're going to attract those things. The more the circle around you that you have influence with are going to start speaking and acting and thinking that same way. So just remember, guys, it is that 4 inches between our ears. It's our choice. And with that, Jennifer, I don't know if you have any, you and I don't think we did a call together in a very long time. So I know what Patty and I do is we throw it to the other to kind of see what insight they have. So hopefully you're prepared for that. If not, we'll just take what you got off cuff if you're still there and available to do that.
I am here, and yes, it has been forever. I agree with everything you said, and this keep your eyes on the prize really kind of hits home for me in really all areas of life. And when it talked about focusing on your goals, because normally we're so focused on our worries and fears, for me that's always been a big struggle to deal with, whether it was in business, in partnership, just really in life. And for me, I was in some classes once, and the lady was talking about worry and fear, and she said, our minds are created to worry for us. Like, they want to protect us. They have a job to do. You're not crazy about it. You're not constantly a negative person. She was like, you just have to try to decide to change that. Like, instead of all the worries of what's wrong, like, stop and ask yourself, like, but what can go right? What can really be good in this? How can this impact my life in a positive way? And within that, too, of looking at the gratitude, you mentioned that. I like the gratefully frustrated. But what can go right? And I still, like, even last week there was something that came up, and I'm like, okay, Jennifer, like, I talked to myself. I'm like, what can go right in this? What is the good that can come of this? So really shifting that focus is a huge thing. And there's some other things I've read in the past, too, and it talks about our focus and where our focus is at, the state, story, and strategy. The state that we are in and where our focus is at is what helps us tell the story in our mind of where we're going to have and what's going on. And then that story is where we can create our strategy. So if we're focused on bad things and all the things in that state of constant worry and frustration, it's going to be hard to find the story and the strategy out of that. And I think the people we surround ourselves with, that's one big thing I've learned in this. I've met a lot of people like you, just the encouragers. You got to find those people in your world, and if you don't have them, seek them out and look for them of, when you're in that bad state, who do you have in your life that you can call and be real with? But to be real with and be honest with, that can help you shift some of that to get it in a better story and a better strategy out of that. And our focus on the physiology, moving our body, and how we speak to ourselves are some of the three biggest things we can do to change that state. Get out and move the body. When I was dealing with some really bad depression a few years ago, I didn't even want to get out of bed. Thank goodness I had my new puppy, Mayday, for those that follow us on social media. I had him to help change that state for me and get me up and to move my body. And when I was moving and breathing and getting the oxygen that I needed to my brain to help me think, and then reaching out to people to help me a lot of times, that really helped me change the state and the story I was telling myself, whether it was I was a failure in things or I didn't deserve certain things. So I really encourage you guys, like, this chapter is really good. Dig into it more, and if you have those times in your life, whether it's about your business you're in, maybe it's about your relationships, maybe you went through a divorce, and I went through this, and, your whole world was switched upside down. Like, what is my future really, truly supposed to look like? You have to refigure those things and figure out what your goals are, because you have to have something to move forward to. You're just kind of floating out there. So just really dig in and find those people in your world. If I can help with that, I'm happy to, those that know me. But dig into your world. Find new things to focus on, things that are going to bring you guys joy and bring good people into your world. So I'll pass that back to you, Chris.
Wow, well, fantastic, Jennifer. We need to do more calls together. But great insight, great stuff, and what a fitting name for the dog in your time of need, Mayday. And yes. Mayday helped you through that time, and that's fantastic. Very encouraging, very encouraging. Good stuff. So, guys, again, we thank you guys for being here. We do this every single weekday morning, same time. We have different leaders, different people in our industry that come on and do this call, so you get all kinds of different personalities and perspectives. So please join us on other days. I know tomorrow Juan Marcato will be doing the call with his wife, so definitely jump on tomorrow, and we look forward to it. And Jennifer will go ahead and unmute the lines and get it where y'all can say goodbye to each other, and y'all have a wonderful and fantastic day.